So, guys, NBA free agency is today. It starts today. Some players are already getting re-signed. Some contracts are already going out. Some players already aren't getting qualifying offers. So we're just gonna go down the list here on Spot Rack and just kind of talk about and kind of predict where some of these players can go. I have an idea about some of these players, kinda, because there's been talks. There's teams that are looking for these certain positions, but let's just go straight into it. Let's go straight into it and talk about it. So we have here on Spot Rec all the available free agents. We have the signed free agents here. I'm gonna reload it one more time here just to see if anything else has changed. Um, but yeah, these are some of the free agents that are already being re-signed here. Colin Gillespie just signed his contract. Daron Sharp just got offered a contract as well. That's probably going to be on here soon. But we have some of the free agent signings here. I'll just talk about some of these shortly. Kyrie, great re-signing. Fred VanVleet, I love that they renegotiated their deal, got him down to 25 mil a year. I think he's going to be now. People are going to look at him a little bit differently just because he isn't making all that money now. Sam Miro as well, just another good wing pickup for the Cavs here, very cheap as well. Davion Mitchell, another good re-signing for the Heat. Zaire, another good re-signing for the Nets as well. And so let's go over here to the available free agents. And let's just go down the list here of some of these names that I think are kind of interesting. So we're going to start off with Brook Lopez, who people have. He's not going back to Milwaukee. I think that's the given. Just because Milwaukee won, I don't think can re-sign him, and I just don't think he wants to be there anymore. Just because of how dysfunctional that team is. But I think for me, the destination for Brook Lopez that he's probably gonna go to is the Warriors, because they're losing Kevon Looney this free agency probably. And I think the only other team that would be kind of interested in him would be the Lakers, on one of their like mid-level exceptions or wherever they want to try and resign him. As you can see, he's 37 years old here, so he probably only has probably like a year or two left in the tank. I would assume that he's gonna resign, that he's gonna sign for. So I think going to the Warriors for like a year, get a last year in, if he doesn't decide to retire this offseason, which I don't think he will. But go to the Warriors for one more season, try and see how far he can go, try and win a chip there. So I think that's kind of interesting for him. That's where I would predict him going as the Warriors. Clint Capella. I have Clint Capella. There's been talks about the Spurs, Clippers, and Lakers being in discussion for Clint Capella, which I think all three of those teams can benefit from them. The Clippers just being a backup to Zubac when he's not on the floor, because the Clippers last year did not really have. They kind of ran like small ball when Zubac wasn't on the floor. And then the Spurs, again, big depth behind Wembanyama. He can play with Wemby on the court. Wemby could be a roamer on defense. Clint could be the rim protector, and then just being a lob there on offense, as he's always been throughout his career. And then for the Lakers, again, being the rim protection, being the rim protector, or yeah, being the rim protector, being a lob there for Luka, for LeBron, would be very, very good. They'd probably use their mid level exception on him. But I think that the Lakers are gonna go after Aiton. And then they're probably gonna lose Dorian Finney-Smith to another team we'll get to a little bit later. But I think the Lakers are probably gonna focus a lot on bigs this offseason, which I think is, should kind of be the vocal point of this offense, along with getting another perimeter defender. But I think Clint Capella, if I was to pick a destination for him, I would probably. I'm kind of leaning towards the Clippers here. I'm gonna be honest. I think the Clippers are really solid. Um, can obviously run the backup center when Zubac is not in the game. They have James Harden, who is a exceptional playmaker. They can bring in another playmaking guard, probably another backup guard in free agency maybe, that can help them out. But I think either the Clippers or the Spurs could be a really good option for them. I don't think the Lakers go out and get him, even though he's in talks for them. He might want to go to LA to play with Luka, who wouldn't want to play with Luka. But I think that's kind of my option for him. So now moving on to Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown, I'm gonna make it quick. I think he's going back to the Nuggets. The Nuggets need the depth. He's been there. He won a chip there. He knows the system already. Pretty much, he knows all the players. I think him going back to the Nuggets. He went to the Raptors. He got his money. As you see previously, he was paid uh, 22 mil a year over 2 years. He has his money. Now it's time to go back to where you had your success. I think that's where he goes back. And now Brogdon. I'm gonna do a lot of these point guards just in unison. Brogdon, Russell, and Dennis Schroeder. I think all of the teams I'm thinking about with all of them, or one, the Mavs. I think the Mavs are going to target guard heavy um, this free agency. Playmaking guard that can just go out there play make. They've been linked to like D'Lo. I think they could go after Schroeder. They can go after Brogdon and be really successful. I think another team is like the Knicks. The Knicks don't have a backup point guard right now. I'm pretty sure last year their backup point guard was like Cameron Payne, um, and like DeLon Wright at times, which they can definitely upgrade. And if they do get like a Brogdon or a Russell or a Dennis Schroeder, that's definitely an upgrade for them. Detroit as well could be an option. Detroit, I really do want them to resign Dennis Schroeder, but if they don't, I think some of these options, like Malcolm Brogdon, I wouldn't be mad at this for him going back there. So those are kind of my options for like some of these like point guards. I think the Mavs is really like the main spot that's going to be talked about for some of these guards. And then I think the Knicks are a good option. Maybe like some of these teams that have like younger guards that need like vets, like the Hornets or like the Pistons. The Pistons could use backup guard play. I think I would assume, but I think that's kind of interesting where some of these players can go. Brogdon could probably go back to Indiana as well on like a cheaper deal just to be another backup guard alongside while Tyrese is hurt, just to help out with the playmaking load back there. And so we're just gonna skip past Miles Turner. Miles Turner is going back to Indiana. Tim Hardaway, I think, is gonna go back to Detroit. I think they're gonna give him a good. Uh, I think he's gonna go back to Detroit. Uh, I think Detroit should resign him. They did a really good job this year getting shooters around Cade, and I think they're gonna follow that up again with them getting Tim Hardaway and maybe some of these other free agents down the line here. D'Lo, we talked about him. I feel like the Mavs are a good fit for him, a good option for him. Duncan Robinson, I've seen Miami. Probably won't go back to Miami, but I've seen some talks about him maybe going to Detroit, getting some more shooters around Cade there. Um, so Detroit could be an option for them, or maybe like some other teams that just need some shooting alongside like some of their star players. But I think Miami is a safe option for him to go back to. Going down to Karis LeVert, I think if the Pistons don't resign Malik Beasley after this whole drama that is going on around him, if they don't end up resigning him, I feel like Karis LeVert or Duncan Robinson, especially Karis LeVert, could be an option for the Pistons to grab here in free agency. He see here he's almost 31 years old. He's a veteran. He is a veteran scoring guard that could play alongside Cade, Jaden Ivey, Tobias Harris. He will fit alongside that team pretty seamlessly. I feel like, to be honest with you. Moving down to Luke Kennard, the Memphis Grizzlies did not re-sign him, so he's now a free agent, and I think a lot of teams can benefit from his shooting on the outside because he is a great shooter. And I think that's kind of the theme here with a lot of these free agents here. It's just kind of like role players that know how to do their jobs. A lot of shooters, a lot of wing depth going on here. Teams for him though, kind of interesting. I'm not too sure. I kind of just want to see where he goes. What team wants to pick him up that just thinks they need outside shooting? Because I think there's a lot of teams that could just benefit from him being on the roster if they need to put him in the game. So we're just gonna move on to Dorian Finney-Smith here now, who I think is going to the Houston Rockets because the Houston Rockets are prepared to give him a massive, a great contract. So LA is probably gonna lose out on him. Probably gonna go to Houston, play alongside KD, Sengun, Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, a lot of these already good players. That brings a lot more defense to that roster. Some outside shooting, 3-and-D depth. I think that's amazing for them, to be 100% honest with you. Dennis Schroeder, we talked about him. I want Detroit to re-sign him, but if he does not go back to Detroit, I think a team like the Knicks or the Mavs could be beneficial for him. Going back to I'm gonna skip past Marvin. I'm gonna skip past Marvin Bagley just because I don't really know where he can go. Chris Boucher, a lot of teams could benefit from him being just like the stretch forward that can protect the rim as well. Maybe like the Pistons again. Toronto could probably just re-sign him. That could be an option. Maybe some of these other teams that just need stretch bigs. Maybe like the Suns. The Suns could maybe go out and get him, get some more big depth rim protection. That's kind of interesting there. Joe Ingles just re-signed with the Timberwolves, I think, not too long ago. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check here. I'm pretty sure he just re-signed with the Timberwolves, if I'm not mistaken. Mo Wagner is kind of interesting because the Magic is not re-signing him. He is going into free agency. So maybe some teams that need some backup big depth. Not too sure. Maybe like the Hornets. The Hornets could maybe try and go after him. The Hornets could be in contention for Clint Capella as well, just because they're big right now on the roster is like Diabate, I'm pretty sure, and then I don't even know who else is on that roster off the top of my head, to be honest with you. At big, so that could be an option for them. Al Horford, I think I don't know if he goes anywhere. I think he just retires, to be honest. Chris Paul is probably gonna go somewhere. Maybe I think the Mavs again. I think the Mavs are going to be in contention for a lot of these point guards. Maybe he wants to be like a vet on some of the other teams. Maybe like the Hornets could potentially go after him. If he sees like some of these teams like the Knicks, if he wants to make like another like one last push. Maybe the Pacers. If the Pacers, get a 1 year last run for Chris Paul, that could be kind of interesting to me. But I don't think he goes back to San Antonio just because they already have so many guards there. They're probably just gonna work on developing them. With De'Aaron Castle and now Dylan Harper being on that roster. If Al Horford does decide to go anywhere, does it decide to retire? I feel like Boston should just try and re-sign him because he's probably only going to play like another year, maybe 2 at max. Probably just this last year here. I think Boston should just go try and re-sign him. But if Al Horford, because he sees Boston, he sees JT's injured, he sees that this roster is kind of iffy right now. If he wants to go somewhere else where he can kind of still get some run. Some of these teams are interesting. I feel like the Warriors could possibly benefit from his outside shooting, and some veteran leadership as well. Outside of that though, I don't think a lot of these teams are really trying to go after like some of these players. I think like the Pelicans. I don't think the Pelicans are a team that's gonna really be heavy in free agency, especially with like some of these like older players or like rotational players. Trey Jones. I think Trey Jones. It's kind of interesting. I think he probably goes to maybe the Knicks. I feel like maybe the Knicks on like a minimum deal, get them another guard behind Jalen Brunson. Gary Payton. Gary Payton should go back to the Warriors just because of how well he's worked in that system. I think he should go back to the Warriors if the Warriors decide to re-sign him, which I think they should. The Warriors said that they're going to try and go after a perimeter defender, an elite perimeter defender this offseason. And I think Gary Payton is a very good perimeter defender. I don't really think you're going to get a lot better than that later on in free agency here. Skipping down to some of these other players, Kevon Looney is kind of interesting. He can go to a lot of teams like the Hornets, maybe a team that needs some big depth. And then as I literally just got a notification, the Rockets are setting up meetings with Dorian Finney-Smith, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Luke Kennard, as I was talking about earlier. Again, kind of just looking, where is he? There he is. Just kind of looking for some outside shooting there, which I think they should go after. That would benefit them a lot, and it's a very very smart decision for them. So moving down here, kind of Jonathan Kuminga. I don't think the Warriors resign him. Maybe they do just because of how like iffy they have been. Got Kuminga not wanting to be there, and it's just been kind of tension there. I think if I if I predict where he goes, I think he either goes to the Bulls or the Nets. I think those are the two teams that I think he goes to. Maybe the Heat on an outside chance, but I think those are some teams that I think would benefit from him. Giddy back to Chicago. Precious Achua. The Knicks should just resign him. That I think that would be in their best interest, just to resign him. Malik Beasley. I hope his all the drama clears up around him and he just goes back to Detroit, because Detroit was ready to give him a contract before the whole scandal thing came out. So hopefully that just resolves itself. He just can go back to Detroit. Nikhil Alexander Walker, I think the Rockets would be a great fit for him, because Minnesota probably isn't going to resign him, which is kind of sad, to be honest with you. I think Minnesota did benefit from his perimeter defense. He had a great game in the playoffs. I mean, his shooting gets kind of streaky at times, so I can see why maybe they don't want to give him that contract. But Nikhil, I think the Rockets would be a really really good fit for him. Batum not going back to the Clippers because I'm pretty sure he opted out of his player option, or the team didn't give him his team option. But another 3-and-D wing for a lot experienced 3-D wing. I mean, 17 years in the league. Experienced wing for some of these teams. Maybe like the Spurs. The Spurs, if they want to make like a playoff push here soon. That's kind of interesting. Um, maybe the Lakers could probably try and go after him. I think that would be a very smart decision. I mean, you're losing Dorian Finney-Smith here. Why not try and replace him with another 3-and-D wing that can play alongside Luka, and who is a little bit more experienced as well. I think they could probably be in the discussion for Nikhil Alexander Walker. I think they should go after Jake LaRavia too. To be honest with you, I think Jake LaRavia could be a solid back bench depth piece for them. Amir Coffey is kind of interesting. Trey Mann um, the Hornets did give him a qualifying offer, so he's a free agent now. So I just kind of want to see where he goes. Russ, I know the whole thing with him going to the Rockets with KD. I think the Rockets could be a good fit for him to go back to. If he doesn't go back there, maybe just a team like the Heat, maybe for him to go to. Russ is just kind of in that weird spot when it comes to free agents, just because I think he could go to a lot of teams, but maybe a lot of teams don't want him. But I think Denver is a good option for him. I mean, he only made three mil last season, and I think he was a very very solid piece for Denver, especially when like Jamal Murray was injured. He was able to come in there and be like very very good backup point guard, be a good starting point guard. Had some great minutes in the playoffs and during the season as well. Uh, Coming down the list though, I think a lot of these players are just kind of just filler, not filler, but like it's just kind of interesting to see where like some of these like, free agents go. We have Quentin Grimes here, who if Philly does not resign him, some team is going to have a field day with him. Cam Thomas obviously going back to the Nets. Santi Aldama is an interesting option as well. So is Gary Trent. I think Gary Trent goes back to Milwaukee. Daron Sharp just went back to Brooklyn. Santi would be a really, really good fit on some of these teams. I hope the Pistons go after him. Just because I think that would be very, very solid for them to go after in free agency here. And KBJ is kind of interesting. Jackson Hayes, some of these other Gershon Yabusele. I think he goes to the Spurs on like a small deal. Give them some more depth. I think that's a good option for them. But some of these other teams, I think the Lakers go and get Lonnie Walker back, maybe. Balani could probably play on a lot of teams and get some rotational minutes. Ben Simmons is here. Kai Jones, Markel. I hope Markel gets signed somewhere. But it's kind of interesting. I'm gonna wrap this video up a little bit here. I just wanted to talk about some free agency players. We come down here, we see like Imani Bates, is a free agent now. Mac McClung. Some of these just like maybe like some of these developmental players that can probably come in and play a role a little bit here. So just kind of interesting to look at free agency. The free agency pool isn't very big. I feel like the one free agent, the biggest free agent here was like Kyrie, and he's already been re-signed. But there's like some interesting players, especially like down at the bottom here with like Kuminga, Josh Giddey. I think goes both of them are restricted. I think the Bulls match anybody that tries to go after Josh Giddey, but a lot of these players are um are unrestricted. We looked at restricted free agents. There's like Cameron Thomas, Santi Aldama, Markel Fultz is restricted. Kind of interesting. Grimes is restricted, so I think they match anybody. But I don't think there's gonna be too much player movement throughout the free agency pool. Like I said, I think it's gonna be a lot of re-signings, kind of, as we go down the line. But there's gonna be like some role player moves that's gonna be kind of interesting. Like the Lakers are going to be in talks for like Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, DeAndre Ayton, who isn't on here. They're going to be in talks for them, or he might be on here. He might be he might be somewhere on here. Just because he got bought out, so technically he doesn't have a contract, but he made a salary last year. But anyways, I'm gonna kind of wrap it up there. You guys like, comment, follow, just all that good stuff. But yeah, you guys have a great rest of your day. It's good talking to you guys. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to be getting a lot more YouTube videos out. First YouTube video in the books now. Kind of nervous a little bit, but yeah.